Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2. Unfortunately, the videos may, in the future for the next couple of weeks, be posting at unusual times of day. The person who lives across the hall from us in our apartment building moved out, and our landlord has decided that the apartment there needs to be renovated, and the walls in our building are too thin for me to be able to record while they're doing renovations in the middle of the day during my usual recording time. So, still going 5 episodes a week, every weekday, but they might be posting at kind of weird times, so apologies in advance for that, unfortunately, beyond my control. Okay, let's do the thing. So, you remember I was talking about how nice it is that all the stuff we were taking from them was major settlements, because it meant that we didn't actually have to bother to defend them very much as we kept pushing? Now we've run into the other situation. Even though this is a very weak army, and it's suffering constant attrition for not having a home region, I still don't know that I can just push east and let them attack Quatar, because Quatar's default garrison is, first of all, pretty weak. You can see just 2 units of Saurus Warriors and 3 of Skink Cohort. And then on top of that, because they're a new garrison, notice the health bar there, they start out at pretty low health and they build up over time. So we probably, unfortunately, have to go over here and actually stomp this army out ourselves. Not that that should be a very difficult thing to do, and in fact, we can definitely just take an auto-resolve on this one. But it does mean that we don't get to push to Karagora this turn. I'm gonna guess... Yeah, we can totally take an auto-resolve. That is a fine result. We probably don't have to take the kill and eat. Tiktaq'to's army has enough replenishment bonuses that we can probably just take Exterminate instead. I mean, the 100 XP is not very valuable, but it's certainly better than casualty replenishment that has no effect at all. Because, right, we're going to be full health here? Yeah, we're going to be full health. Okay. So what do you still need? We have our full red box here. We grabbed all the stuff in our specialty yellow line. So I think I had said we were going to think about Gifts to the Jungle. How many more level ups do I have left? I have 7 more level ups, so we have 8 total points to play with. There's missile resistance and magic resistance. Honestly, I'm not too worried about the magic resist. Missile resistance we might need. The only way that Tiktaq'to's really going to get in danger is if we run into a force that can shoot him out of the sky. But I don't think we're running into that in the next couple of turns here. We can pick this up later. So it really is, like, do we want to grab the bonus replenishment rate, or do we want to go into the yellow line and make him personally a better fighter? Because it is the case that he's kind of not great right now, right? He's very much a shock cavalry unit. We've seen him get trounced pretty badly by a number of things. Partially, this is him having extremely low armor. Honestly, his melee attack and melee defense... His melee attack's fine, his melee defense is fine. It's just, he doesn't have a lot of health, and he has pretty low armor, so he gets hurt a lot when he gets hit. We could end up boosting his armor by as much as 15 points. So if we spent this on Predatory Fighter... then the points for level ups 4, 5, 6, and 7 in this box. Level 38 goes here. And then we could get 2 of the things from this box. We could get a pretty significant increase in his hit points or his weapon strength, melee defense. We would not be able to reach Deadly Onslaught. We don't have enough points left. While this is a pretty good buff, I'm not totally heartbroken over losing it. That's if we wanted to pour everything into the yellow line. If we take a couple of points in Gifts of the Jungle, we could still end up with Foe Seeker, which is maybe worth having. The speed buff is kind of whatever. He's already very fast. But it does refresh some of his vigor when you press the button, and that being available every 60 seconds is actually kind of interesting. It's a little bit like Arcane Conduit, in that it really juices up the amount of vigor that you get to have over the course of a battle. But I think for right now... Yeah, for right now, let's just get a little bit more replenishment rate. Like I said before, we did see situations where we were not replenishing to full automatically at the end of every battle, and that is just unacceptable. Okay, and Roxburgh here has all of the stuff that's actually relevant to air combat at this point. we could gain even more speed, but he doesn't really need it. So why don't we let's start taking the things that would be relevant in ground combat in case we decide that we do want to swap him over to a ground unit for certain battles in the future. So there's 10 points of weapon strength, or 10% weapon strength available for a single point here. Hard to imagine that there's going to be anything better than that available. His melee attack's actually pretty poor. If I were to put him on the Stegodon, it actually gets worse. So when your melee attack is very, very low, increasing your melee, your weapon damage directly is maybe not the best play because you're going to miss so many of your attacks. Let's actually grab him melee attack first. If he were going to get down on the ground on a dinosaur, I'd want him to be able to actually land his attacks first. Okay, and then we can just put this force to bed right now, and I think probably we ought to do that. It's not a very impressive army. But they're like large enough to be a somewhat of a threat to Khemri, and if he comes over here and he puts Khemri under siege, it's not like he's going to be able to take it over immediately, but while it's under siege, it can't build at all, and we definitely want to keep it building up. So yeah, let's just finish things. This battle we might also be able to just auto-resolve. He doesn't have a ton of useful stuff here. My main concern on this one is that we might lose some high-level red-crested skinks, but I guess at this point, we're opening up our recruitment base a little bit. It wouldn't be the end of the world if that happened, and we could save ourselves a little bit of time. Okay, that wasn't too bad. He's definitely going to take the kill and eat, because he doesn't have quite the level of replenishment bonus that the other army has. And with that, Numas is properly destroyed. Okay, alright, we already have replenishment rate buffs here. Just making sure that we have every replenishment rate buff that we have access to equipped. You know what? Sure. Equip that Opal Amulet. There's no reason not to have something in the slot. Do I want to move the Rod of the Storm off of... No, let's keep this in Tiktaq'to's army. I think that's okay. Alright, so we have 8,700 gold, and we have to make some decisions here. How long until this mission expires? 2 turns. Okay, so probably next turn we want to recruit a new lord. That'll give us the Raise the Banners buff. We can also throw up Rite of Ferocity, and then we can start summoning new stuff, and the new army will be pretty useful immediately because of all the units coming in with like 5 levels of experience already. So that means we probably don't want to spend a ton of money this turn. May want to take it a little bit easy. Let's have you just go ahead and keep scouting this away. Skaven Rebels. Okay. So this is what happens when you lose control of a region through public order. What happened here is that the Temple of Tlenkan fell to -100 public order. A rebel army spawned, and somehow the owner of the region was unable to defeat it. Maybe their military was elsewhere for whatever reason. And so the rebels took over, and the rebels have just made themselves into a proper faction now. I don't know what's going to happen with that. Presumably, at some point, like, the real orcs, like, these blue vipers are pretty powerful. They have a ton of territory. Probably they'll come and claim this. We don't have any idea what else might be lurking down here. We suspect that the Order of Loremaster still exists. We can actually, if we mouse over stuff through the fog, see who owns it, apparently. That probably shouldn't be that way. That's information I shouldn't have. But who knows? Maybe the High Elves will take care of this. All I know is that it's not my problem. Okay, this was the turn that Tiktaq'to hit maximum population, so we can go ahead and destroy these growth structures. Let's have a look at all the other regions down here. So we're 2 turns off of the population cap here. We are 240 growth short. So if I were to remove this, we would drop the growth value down to 130 per turn. So it still caps out in 2 turns even without this growth building. So we can go ahead and remove that. We'll use all those slots for more useful things soon in the future. Okay, we're still way off of population capping here. And yeah, in all of the new regions, we need a ton of population yet. Yeah, we only need 1 upgrade here, but we're way far away from it. Okay, so I think we're not going to do any building upgrading this turn. I think we're saving it all. So what do I want to do with you? kind of want you to go out to sea. Unfortunately, there are no more valuable ruins nearby. We will not suddenly spike our value. Hey, who knows? Maybe we get lucky. I'm going to go ahead and move out toward the sea as much as possible. Maybe we'll get lucky and a new one will spawn next turn and we can grab it. This would be a good time to have a sudden income gain. Where are we at on our chapter objectives? Okay, we are 9 settlements away from the next big reward. We didn't even look at what the sub-objectives are this time. Have a geomantic spire somewhere. Is that the name of the tier 4 building in that line or the tier 5? Okay, spire is 4. 5 is a locus. Okay, well, we'll definitely have that done. Win 25 battles. I'm working on it. Reach rank 20 with a hero. Have 33 flying units. That seems unlikely, although we do have a lot. And finally, Come On and Slan is an extremely good name for this goal. Complete missions. I'm great at missions. Wow, there's a bonus 10,000 gold for that one. So 12. As it stands right now, we are going to get 14,000 gold when we move up to the next tier. It's a shame that's so extremely far away. Alright, is there anything else that we want to destroy anywhere? Because demolishing buildings gives you a little bit of money. This would be a good time to do it. Do I think that we still need this? This is going to be pretty far from the front of any battle that we fight. And I definitely would want to replace it with a growth building. So yeah, we can demolish that as well. That'll be a little bit more money for the hiring spree. And this thing is just get battle captives, so we'll complete this whether we want to or not. That's a thing we don't have to put any effort into at all. Alright, so Death Gorge is almost certainly not actually empty. Skaven have access to a movement mode that lets them ignore obstacles in the way, just move sort of as the crow flies. Except, you know, under the obstacles instead of over them. So there's no reason that they couldn't have gone from Carreg Orud over to Death Gorge. They could probably do that in a single move. That's interesting. Death Gorge, obviously, you can tell from the name, is usually an Orcish settlement. I'm actually really curious what is going on with the various Orc forces up here. We're going to hire some new scout heroes pretty soon. I would have done it this turn if we weren't trying to save up to make sure that we could get some good recruitment going instead. So any units that we like, the level buff has a limited duration, right? It's only going to be for the next 4 turns or whatever. All of your units get +2 to their rank when recruited. But I believe the way it works is that any units that we queue up during that time get the buff, even if they don't finish recruiting before the end of the buff. So I'm hoping that over the duration of the buff, we can queue up a full army's worth of units. It's not gonna all be this coming turn, but I want to make sure that we can fill that army with useful troops as quickly as possible. Because remember, the other factions of the world are also leveling up all their guys through battle and everything. So like if we head north to Sartosa, and it turns out that Sartosa's only army is sitting there in the city, which I think is a pretty reasonable thing to suspect will happen, we have to assume that those units will be at least somewhat experienced. Maybe not as experienced as ours, maybe not units that have survived since the beginning of the game, but probably in the silver tiers at least. And you would be surprised at how easy it is to lose units to forces that should be inferior, if those inferior forces have an experience advantage on you. Alright, so these beastmen are becoming a problem. Oh hey, we finished our Sequence of the Sea. Well, I think we're just going to go straight into Sequence of Laborers. Boy, I want to unlock that. That would be pretty good. We have, what, 2 or 3 gold mines already, don't we? Unfortunately, this is a lot of buildings. But you know what? Actually, while we're here, while I'm thinking about it, we should look at our total victory conditions as well. Because I know we have some building requirements. Yeah, okay, so like, for example, we have to get to 3 star chambers. So it's a thing to keep in mind while planning out our upgrades in these big cities. Get the 8 world capitals. Okay, so we're halfway to the number of provinces that we have to own. All of the stuff that we actually have to own, we know where it is. These three are down in the... these two are down in the corner. The Southern Badlands is this area right here, just north of us. And then Sartosa and Skaven Blight are there and there, so we're good on that. Yeah, just make sure we get Star Chambers, and all of these factions have to be destroyed. We'll kill the Pirates of Sartosa when we take Sartosa. That shouldn't be a problem at all. Clan Moors, I'm pretty sure, is this group of Skaven, so we're going to be fighting them presently. The Bloody Hands are a group of orcs that, if I remember correctly, spawn somewhere around here. So after we drill through the top knots, we may find them over there. They will definitely be the last one on that list to get eliminated. Okay. Passive experience gain. Let's just go ahead and cap out Flock of Doom, so reducing the cooldown and the Winds of Magic cost for both the normal and overcast versions. And then we'll do the same to Pan's Impenetrable Pelt. And in normal mode, we don't have enough movement to attack Karag Orud. We should probably scout it out a little bit first. We don't want our first action to be declaring war on them, because I have no idea what their military strength in this area is, right? But I think we can just hang out right here. That should be fine. Let's keep seeing what's up along the coast. Well, a great battle occurred here. Battle of the Awakening on turn 9, 3,700 casualties. That's a pretty serious battle. Okay, so this is a Vampire Coast faction. In fact, this is the faction that is named the Vampire Coast. I don't know why the tooltips do that. Sometimes you mouse over something and it just, like, it fades to full, minimum opacity, full opacity. And then it just resets and fades to full opacity again and then resets. No idea why it happens. Okay, so we have a considerable amount of cash available. It's El Hake that we want to summon him in, right? I think this region's not quite ready on the recruitment stuff. But here we can summon flyers, we can summon the most basic Saurus unit. It's like pretty bad, actually. We probably actually want to upgrade this because we want these guys with the shields. So yeah, we'll spend a little bit of money on that. We certainly don't want to recruit the base level dinosaurs. Stegodon with the ballista thing mounted on its back. Like, that's the lowest quality of dinosaur we want to recruit. That's a very expensive building to be upgrading to. It is a 4-turn buff, so if we start the upgrade right now, it won't be finished in time for us to recruit Stegodons during the buff period. So I'm just not going to worry about it right now. Alright. Let's do this thing. Perform the Rite of Ferocity, which lasts 5 turns. And let's get ourselves a Lord. So we have a couple of Lords already in the pool. I am inclined... Ooh. A Disciplined Red-Crested Skink Chief. +2 leadership, +2 melee attack for all of his units. That's interesting. I think I'm inclined to go for this guy. I think -4 enemy leadership on every army you fight is pretty cool, actually. And I want it to be a Saurus unit. I'm curious about Red-Crested Skink Chiefs, but I want something that's going to be tough here. Alright, so we do have this War Beast focus. And maybe we hire like 1 or 2 basic War Beasts. We have our Rite of Ferocity up, we have Raised the Banners. Let's get some cool stuff. First of all, we have access to these guys. Remember, we will definitely pull those in, but they can wait until the end. Oh, hey, the Cohort of Sotek is back in the pool. They can also wait until the end. They get brought in at rank 9 no matter what, so we don't need to exercise our buff on them. So yeah, you can see we're bringing in ground units at rank 5, and the flyers at... Okay, the Fire Leech flyers are high, it's just not the Colossadon, or not the Riprodactyls. Okay, well I definitely want to get a whole bunch of Fire Leech bolas, because these things are great. So let's figure out what the cheapest unit we want to recruit is. I definitely don't want any of these dudes, so I think it actually is the Fire Leech Bola Riders. So because the cost of a unit coming in through the global pool is doubled, Oh, I don't have a high enough beast layer for a Bastillodon with a solar engine. We have one of the buildings, but not the other one that is required for these guys. Yeah, because the cost of these units coming in is doubled, you want to recruit the cheapest things that you're going to recruit this way. So let's grab like 2 units of Pterodon Riders, and do I want to grab a Bastillodon? What is the difference between these 2 dinosaurs in practice? Stegodons have more speed, more attack, more defense, a lot more weapon strength, a greater charge bonus. They have slightly less armor, but a ton more health. Now, what the hell is the purpose of the Bastillodon? Plus 15 versus infantry, 160 of its damage is armor piercing, whereas with this guy you get plus 18 versus... This seems to just be a better dinosaur. Well, do we want to pull that guy in via the global pool? No, that's one we want to do locally, because it's pretty expensive. Okay, and then just like some basic... Here, we'll grab a unit of chameleon skinks through the global pool too, because I do want some poison in the army. I like having a little bit of poison. It can really act as a force multiplier on your melee. And then we're just going to grab... How many units of flyers do we want? It's probably more than 2. Let's have this many units of Pterodon Riders. Is it 2 turns to finish? Yeah, it's 2 turns to get this upgrade, so we have the Sauruses that we want. So let's queue up 2 full turns worth of recruitments. Next turn, 3 of the slots in the local pool are going to free up, so let's just refill them immediately. We could grab some red-crested skinks. Like, they're still useful as assassin-type units on the ground. Let's queue those up. Alright, and in 2 turns we'll come back and we'll get our sort of our Saurus core and whatever else makes sense. But yeah, getting to pull everything in at rank 5 is really nice. It's going to speed the development of this army up quite a bit. So we have 2 units of swords from this, a unit of red-crested skinks from that. Maybe this is even too many units of skinks already. I'm going to grab 1 more unit of Fire Leech Bola guys. Okay. And we probably want Lord Croak in that army at some point as well. Maybe that point is now. Maybe we just run these guys over there and have them deposit him. Like next turn, Lord Croak can run across from the one army to the other, and that way we have a good use for Winds of Magic in all 3 of the armies. And we still end up having a little bit more money than I thought we were going to. So what upgrades do we want to pursue right this moment? Oh, if we start this, we'll be able to recruit salamanders for this army before the buff wears off. So that's a good idea. And then we have 4,000 left. That's not going to be enough to go for the big upgrades. We're already running the upgrades to Geomantic Spires here. We should do that in other nearby regions so that we can get the good versions of the commandments going there as well. Do I want to do that in Khemri right now, though? Or would we rather build some other stuff? Because the benefit of the improved commandment is 1 point of public order, 10 points of growth, and 2% money from the region. Is there anything we could build that would be more valuable to this region than that? Probably not, right? And that doesn't even take up a huge amount of our remaining cash. And then we can afford the base level of the growth building is super cheap. We can afford to throw that up here. And you know what? I'm going to build this here as well, I guess. Well, we don't need the growth or the public order that badly here. And we do have upgraded money buildings in both of the settlements. So I guess there's a fair amount of money. Yeah, the first level of this is a 10% buff to income. Yeah, sure. We'll still have enough money to do what we need to do. Okay, I think that turned out pretty well. So we're going to drop Croak off. We're going to have these guys come across, and we're going to have to deal with these beastmen. Okay, so a lot of archers in this beastmen army, and a couple of Cygors, which are like rock-hurling giants. Actually kind of dangerous. This is not a weak army. This is a better army than any of the Tomb King armies we faced, I think. Weirdly enough. Alright, so we can basically spend whatever money we want on this next turn, because we have enough income that the turn after this, when the Saurus building is finished, we will definitely be able to, just from that turn's income, afford to hire some Sauruses into that army. That army is definitely going to be a more traditional sort of ground-pounding army, now that we have the ability to make an infantry-heavy army that's not going to be total garbage. Because there are some uses for that. For example, I would much prefer to have that army of Sauruses and stuff against this Beastmen army than the army of Flyers that we're probably going to take them on with. Okay, the Greenskins just confederated the Bloody Hands. I think that will actually satisfy our objective. The faction called the Bloody Hands no longer exists, so checkmark for us. I thought that was going to be a huge pain in the ass. We don't necessarily have to fight the Greenskins at all if we don't want to. That said, if we find ourselves pushing up through the top knots, we may run into them. We don't know exactly how much land up here they control. And if we run into them, they'll probably fight us because they're orcs, so that's just kind of how they get down. You gotta admire the simplicity of that worldview. In some ways. I'm not saying agree with it, but, you know, they know what they like. They know what they want, and they are not afraid to go after it. In a way that's harmful to absolutely everyone, including themselves, which is less admirable. But still, they go for it. They seem to be having a good time while they're doing it. So yeah, you can see actually the number of orcish factions in the world is still pretty large. I think the Skull Takers is the name of the faction that starts up by Bretonnia. I believe they start with only one settlement. It's kind of wild that they did not get destroyed by all the Bretonians and Empire dudes in the area, but I guess they have a lot on their plate at the beginning of the game. So I would not necessarily expect those Beastmen to declare war on us. Oh hey look, another rogue army spawned. But they will just continue raiding our territory forever, and that raiding sucks. Be at war with Clan Moors in 8 turns to get 8 turns of +10 leadership against Skaven. Okay, that's very likely to happen. Yeah, they'll just keep raiding this region forever, and we are suffering some penalties from that. First of all, they're driving up the level of Chaos Corruption. Secondly, how much money are we losing from being raided? There's an indication of this somewhere. Oh yeah, there, rating 347. So that's not too bad. It's just the amount they're producing. Fair enough. So they are stealing from us every turn. It's not a huge amount, but it's still annoying. All right, Croak, go join up over here. I assume that both of these passives are active at all times, regardless of which one of those options we choose. And then, yeah, you definitely have to get over here and deal with this. We'll probably just grab, like, that unit of red-crested skinks for this army. I don't know that we want a ton of them over here. Okay, so all of the recruitment slots are still full, right? Nope, somewhere I miscounted. Okay, so we have one more slot available. What do we want? What do we want one more of? We're already going to have 6 units of flyers. I think that's probably enough. I think I'm just going to leave it empty for the moment. I don't know that we actually want another unit of any of the things that we can recruit locally in a single turn. Because we could get another dinosaur. We could have a unit of Ripperdactyl riders just in case. We haven't been getting a lot of use out of the ones we already have. I think I'm just going to hold off. We'll use these recruitment slots to get salamanders and stuff. Okay, so let's come over here and, yeah, Clan Moors has given away their position by hiring units outside of their settlement while we're sitting here watching. Let's just go and search the ruin, I guess. Okay, Skaven revealed. You get that off the screen, please. Do not just declare war. Hold on, I want to look. So, there is an army here. It's not super strong right now. Doom Wheels and Doom Flayers. They do have some Poison Wind Globadiers, which are dangerous. They are powerful, anti-large ranged units. They don't have super great range, but they're still definitely a threat to the Pterodons. And then Storm Vermin that would be worrying for a lot of forces, but that we won't fight all that much, so it wouldn't be a big deal. And their garrison has a catapult, some crappy slingers, some Storm Vermin. So their garrison's extremely fightable. We could just hit Karagor right now. They are unprepared. Hold on a moment. Let's look at the diplomacy menu. Do a little bit of cheating here. How many settlements do you have? 4. Where do we think those are? Okay, so there's a number of settlements over here. I bet Death Gorge is theirs. This might well be theirs. They're currently at war with the main dwarf faction as well as the Court of Liberis, which means that fighting them will be a good way to curry favor with the dwarves. So it might well be the case that none of this stuff is them. There might be a different Skaven faction down here, since we know that not all of this could possibly be them. So we're kind of getting ourselves into a thing if we attack them now, but I think we've got them in a moment of weakness, and Yarick's army is on the way over here. I think we just go for this. So yeah, let's go ahead and declare war. Sorry, did you just ask me to make Musk of Fear? That, even if I wasn't going to declare war on you before, that right there, that's fighting words where I come from. Just be telling a stranger to make Musk of Fear. What's wrong with you? Alright, lightning strikes. So all we have to do really is watch out for the Poison Wind Globadiers. They have a couple of units of slingers. It's not too dangerous. Alright, let's get in there and mess up some Skaven. We are familiar with all of these units here. There's nothing particularly new and terrifying. It is worth noting that they have casters. There is a caster in the garrison. I do not know if that caster is necessarily going to have the Tempest spell, but we know that they have access to it at least within their schools of magic, so he could. He might. Which, in theory, means that we want to spread our flying units out if we can. I mean, it's pretty important that we stay grouped up enough to kill the Poison Wind dudes. The Poison Wind Globadiers are, without question, the first target for rock drops. Fortunately, we have enough rocks that I bet we'll be able to get through them. They have a lot of armor, but I think the rocks seem to do an awful lot of damage. The rocks might ignore armor, I'm not sure. But we have used them to kill high armor units before. That's weird that it started us all the way in the corner here. Sort of like pressed up against this wall. Especially given that that is absolutely not the place we want to be. I guess I get it. There's, no, I totally don't. There are towers all over the place over here, and there's no gate. Yeah, see, we want to start on this side. There are no towers on this part of the wall because it is in disrepair. And given their lack of competent ranged units, I think we want to do one of these strategies where we just let our flying units press in first and handle a lot of the fight. And the ground army can show up later. Let's grab all of the ground army. It's a little awkward because of the fact that the Riperdactyl riders are to the left of a single melee unit. Okay, everybody's pulled over. This should be good enough. So all of you guys, just march up over here and we'll figure it out. Who am I telling to get that close to that part of the wall? You guys should probably actually... Like, let's not make it too easy for them to sling garbage down at us, right? And where are their Globadiers? There's one unit of them right in front of this gate, or right on top of this gate, another one over there. Alright, like I said, massively, massively important targets. I mean, it's pretty much just everybody go directly at them, I think. And then we'll micro some rock drops in real fast. Let's make sure we hit this, because there's currently, like, nothing in the bar at all. Oh, you should get over here, at least. Okay, so what do we want the wizard to do first? Do we want to start off with a big amber spear on them? Am I remembering correctly that they have a lot of armor? Yes, I am. Okay. So, does the Raven spell doesn't say on it that it is reduced by armor. It is probably not physical damage. So throwing it up on the wall could be useful in that it's going to hit all these slingers as well, which is kind of nice. If I overcast it, we get a larger area and longer duration. Oh no, it does not hit a larger area. It has a larger cast range. That is different. It doesn't help quite as much here. But I think I actually like opening up with this. Let's see if we can leech some health out of all of the flyers at the same time. And while that is happening, first wave of rocks. Yep, that's pretty good. That's really good, in fact. Wow, we didn't actually attack the slingers here at all. There were no intentional attacks at them, so that's like all crow damage. Okay, here come the rest of them. So we got more magic. It looks like we did hit a misfire there. You can see the health damage that it did, but it's really not too bad. Do we want to... I probably don't want to throw a spear or anything at a bunch of units this small and weak. It would be overkill. A lot of the damage would be wasted. So I guess... Hold on. One thing I know I'm going to do is have the salamanders kind of fan out along the wall here. Just give them the maximum possible ability to arc shots over at people. They're already on the retreat and very nearly actually dead. I think we can safely just move on to the next target. Have all of you guys go after these poison wind globadiers, and we'll try to micro a bomb onto the gutter runner slingers. Remember, they are pretty fast and they can move while shooting, so they might evade us on this. Oh, right, the summoned clan rats. I totally forgot. But we'll be right with you. Alright. We don't have a lot of units that they could summon clan rats in a way that would be very effective. Clan rats just aren't very good fighters. It seems like actually they summoned them in the back of the temple guard. Oh, these poor little rats are going to get torn to shreds here. I actually do feel kind of bad for them. This is going to be terrible. So this unit of Skaven Slave Slingers is pretty messed up. We shouldn't leave flying units over near them, though. Alright, who has the next rock drop? You have the next rock drop. This does feel a little unfair. We're gonna hit the poison globe guys with this, not the slingers. Would love it if you guys would maybe group up a little bit more tightly. Okay, that'll do. Okay. We're close enough that the catapult is shooting the flying units. It's probably not going to hit very many times, but when it does hit, it will deal pretty meaningful damage. So, having fired all of the rock drops from these guys, let's have them break off and go hit the catapult. We'll keep an eye on them just so they don't get surprised by anything. You know, we can have the wizard go over there too. He will be useful. And let's get back on rocks. So there's one unit of gutter runner slingers still unaccounted for somewhere, right? And we can't see them unless we're actually close to them, because they are sneaky like that. Yeah, I don't know. We'll just back up and drop on these guys again. Look at this. Look at this cowardice. Nope, keep traveling this way. That abrupt turn was almost enough to actually help them. Okay, we got another... another spawn. Something tells me we'll be alright. Where's the first one? Okay, the first one is broken and fleeing. It looks like we're not really... Okay, we're getting arcs up onto the wall. That's something. Good work. Good work, guys. I love it when they do things without me having to micro them into doing it, because we're very busy. Well, I think the next most sensible thing is to just start dropping rocks into these really dense formations over here, right? And our wizard is almost at the siege weapons. Alright, you guys may as well let those slingers have it. Okay, I want to have people stay on these dudes until they're actually permanently broken. So your whole deal is lightning on artillery pieces. We should probably actually be doing this from the other side of them. Sorry, I did not hold the right button there. Okay. Here... yeah. Let's throw down a non-overcast crow. The individual guys in the unit that controls the artillery are not very powerful. So a little bit of damage spread out over the lot of them should be pretty effective. Okay, this time they're spawning units like in our range. This is way better for them. I don't know that it's going to be good enough. We should probably move the salamanders, though. Actually, you know what? I just told you guys to turn around and attack them. Don't do that. Never mind. What am I thinking? Just shooting into my own dudes. You can see this is a cone of filth. They're casting some offensive magic into us. Here, you guys can come and handle that. And I imagine... Alright. We have a lot of people who can come and help. Actually, the Ripperdactyls could get in on that too. Let's minimize damage to the salamanders. Okay, catapult crew is broken. I'm going to leave one of the units of Blessed Pterodon Riders on them to finish breaking them. And the other guys should come over here. We got to start working on some of these troops. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have both of the units of guys who have explosive weapons come over here and do this. And the nearest unit of normal Pterodon Riders can pick them up and keep the thing done. That is that unattended, or that unaccounted for unit of Gutter Runner Slingers. So I guess we could have a couple of these other flying units attack them. I would like them gone. Okay, more rocks. Yeah, this is what I wanted to see. This wild arcs over into this really, really dense formation of troops. Okay, and they've broken and run already. You have to be pretty careful with the way you summon the free clan rats, because just being near enemies is often enough to make clan rats break and run. So you have to find, like, appropriate opportunities for that. What you really want is to have them drop on top of a group of enemies that is already in combat with some of your other guys, so you're getting that flanking bonus right away. Alright, the whole lot of you should probably grab them. If you're wondering how many times they get to do that, it's based on the amount of Skaven corruption in the region, and since they have probably been here since the beginning of the game, I would expect that the answer is a lot more times, probably. You know what? Let's go ahead and do rocks. Maybe not. Maybe let's save the rest of the rocks for the very dense, heavily armored groups. So where are you right now? You are fighting those dudes. That's probably fine. We can probably stay focused on that. Oh, that's right. The Doomwheel does have an infrequent ranged attack that it's allowed to use. I don't know. I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so back over here, I think I'm just going to go for another great big flock of doom. Like, look at how grouped up they are. Let's watch this for a moment and see if we can actually figure out how much damage it's doing. Okay, it doesn't seem to be huge. Stays active for quite a while, though. Yeah, it's alright. Geez, maybe we do have to drop rocks. You guys are not killing these as fast as I would have hoped. This is what happens when we don't use any of the explosive projectiles. Once we make these guys run, they will probably run immediately off the backside of the map, so I will pull our units out of here when that happens. Because I'm not too worried about the Doom Wheel. In my experience, Doom Wheels are not actually that great. Okay. Yeah, go ahead and throw some crap at those guys. They think they can be brave and come back into the battle. Okay, retreated. Over here and we'll figure out what to do with you in a minute. Okay, so the damage from the crows was not awesome. This hits a pretty small area, but there are a lot of dudes in this little area here. And then I guess we'll drop his rock. He still has a rock left. There is a little bit of wind up on that. Yeah, salamanders are great. I'm pretty sure salamanders are new with the expansion, so I'm glad we waited until we had these guys to play Lizardmen. And yeah, the crows didn't do a ton of damage, but they did a noticeable amount of damage, and we absolutely are in a position to just kind of sit here and keep hacking at these dudes. Yeah, sure, you can focus on this Warlock Engineer. In fact, we can have Tiktaq'to and the Skink Chief work on that Warlock Engineer while we just focus on the ground units with everybody else so that we don't get too exploded. Yeah, he's gonna break like right away. You guys turn around and deal with that. Do we have any actual units that have rocks left? No, I've been pretty thorough on this one. Our hero still has a rock left. Okay, let's have him disengage real quick. We should be able to get a pretty decent number of casualties right here. Okay. Both of their characters up on the wall there are wizards, so I'm not too worried about them. They're trying to run some storm vermin with halberds up onto the wall, which I don't care for. Let's just have Tiktaq'to disengage then. I don't want to fight the halberd guys. I have no interest in a fair fight. That's just really not how we do things. Actually, we're starting to run out of ammo here. Oh, these guys are engaging in some melee combat on the ground. Get up. You guys can also get out of there. Okay, so we've broken down a bunch of them. Should probably have the guys who still have ammo turn around and make sure all that slinging goes awry, and then I guess this is a good time to knock. I think we probably have them here if we break the gate. Alright, the salamanders are completely out of ammo, so we don't really need to keep them around. Now we do have to be careful with our dinosaurs. And it is worth noting, like, the storm vermin with the halberds are real dangerous units. And they're very, very good at fighting large guys. So we do have to be wary. It's not all the way over. We've done a lot of good damage here. We got a lot of their units fleeing off the back end of the map, which is really good for us. I don't really want to commit anybody to the wall in melee. You guys can back off. They'll run off the edge of the map by themselves. Definitely the most important thing to do now is shoot at the storm vermin with the halberds. Okay, so we got the poison going up into those guys. Trying to get their lords to actually break and die. Let's make sure we're casting this. This looks like a pretty good place for a lightning bolt. And then once the lightning bolt's out, we're going to go crows again. We don't really have a lot of good ways to deal with a large number of relatively tough units. I think the crows are the best thing for this. Like, we could fire the Amber Spear at their lords, but I think we've got their lords under control anyway. Like, you can see this guy right here, their Warlock Engineer. How much health does he actually have left? It's hard to mouse over him because there's other stuff on top of him. He has 276 total health. Alright, the gate's down, and they forgot to put anybody on the inside. For some reason, they had all their dudes line the walls. So... Doomflayers are anti-infantry and armor-piercing. These are also anti-infantry and armor-piercing. So none of them are particularly good against the Carnosaurus, but they are armor-piercing, so they're still, like... They're still going to do okay damage to them. They just don't have the benefit of being anti-large. I think maybe we have him run through and try to chase some stuff off the map, and then we get our considerably tougher units in here. These guys are going to come down off the wall, and we are going to have to deal with them when they do. It would be cool to get the chameleon skinks in on this side, and I think I actually want to leave the red-crested skinks out here, because what they're going to do is they're going to fall back off the back of the walls. They can't easily move off the front of the walls, but they can just climb down off the back. Yeah, stay on him. And when they do that, I want the Sauruses to be in position to intercept them, and then once they're intercepted, the red-crested skinks come in and hit them from behind. That's ideal. Alright, Carnosaurs doing okay work here. It looks like they're just kind of not coming after us, which I think is a huge error. I'm gonna have the cold ones go after that Plague Priest as well. And Tiktaq'to, I guess. Why not? I'm shocked that these dudes are not coming down to protect their lord, because when we kill their lord, there's I think a non-zero chance that that's going to be it. How much health do you have left? Never mind. None is the answer to that question. 0. Yeah, you can see the leadership levels fluctuating. Okay, we have very, very little ammunition left. Let's have these guys get back here, and then once you're back there... Yeah, use your last little bit over here. That should keep all those guys running off the map. And we can just climb up the wall and get them. You can just climb up the inside of the wall. Let's try to pin them down. Wizard could cast some, like, normal crows. Or now that there's only one unit of things for us to attack, maybe it's better to throw an Amber Spear at them? Let's see if that hits. And if it does, if it does any meaningful damage. Okay, that was pretty good. Permanently broken. Okay, here we go. I'll give them this. They stayed in it way longer than you would expect Skaven to stay in it. It was futile, and basically just led to more of them dying than they otherwise would have. I forgot what I was praising them for. Basically, bad job. Bad job all around there, little rat dudes. 15 of us died. What a brutal, horrible siege. 240 kills on the wizard, basically from just casting crows over and over again. It's an okay spell. That is alright. 172 kills on one of the units of salamanders. They need to back away from the wall. It is a little embarrassing for the combat AI when, like, they're getting pounded by what is essentially artillery. From their perspective, this is no different than a catapult that's set 200 feet from the wall or whatever. They're getting pounded by artillery and they just don't have the good sense to move. I guess maybe, though, the way they're programmed to deal with artillery is not to try to run around and do nothing because, you know, you wouldn't be able to outrun actual catapult fire. Okay, we got some gambler's armor. That's good to have. And in this case, we do have a lot of uses for money right now. Yeah, sure. Alright. The game has convinced me that sacking is a good thing to do. Oh, really? Percentage boost to the sacking income. That seems pretty alright. So I'm pretty sure those Blessed Skink Skirmishers are going to be basically useless. Okay, now I'll take this over. Well, let's see... let's see how bad things are going to be here with these guys. It's entirely possible that the other settlement that they have is somewhere to the north and that we're just going to get pressed from the north. If that's what happens, it's not too bad. If we get pressed from the north and the east simultaneously, it could be hard to hold on to Carreg Orid because my instinct with Tiktaq'to will be to move over here to defend Quetar. Do we want to keep this recruitment building around? Is this a place where we need to be able to do recruiting? Probably not, really. And if it were, this is probably not the building I would want. Tell you what we will do, though. While we have that building up, we're allowed to recruit skink chiefs here, so let's do that. Let's get one of those. Hextalk the Disciplined versus this guy whose skills are terrible. We also have... we do not have room for another priest. Wait, 2 of 2. Do we have two skink priests? We don't, right? The hero that I'm exploring with over here is a chief, right? Yeah, he is not a caster. So the only skink priest we have is the one that's in this army. That's weird. Maybe... I wonder if maybe it's Lord Croak. Because Lord Croak is a caster hero. I wonder if he is in the game based on the skink priest, like at the root of his code, and so they just like never caught that. Because we really should be able to hire another skink priest here. Oh well, whatever. Let's get the disciplined guy. He's probably mostly just going to be a scout. We'll have him run around up there. We do need to reveal some things. Also, with all of this money, we can certainly afford to start some big upgrades, like that. It'd be really good for us to have some Tier 5 settlements. Is that the highest priority? Well, I guess we can't do the Tier 5 upgrade anywhere else. Sudenburg can upgrade this turn if we want it to. I was trying to think, like, what needs upgrades right now? I guess we can go ahead and do this. We have the money. Yeah, we're not going to end up short. Phyrus can also take on this recruitment building. I don't know if that's something we need to do right now, though. Now, let's go ahead and upgrade Sudenburg. This way, at least we can have all of the top-level purple buildings. So we can have all of the units available to pull in, even if many of them would have to come in through the reinforcement, or through the global recruitment pool. And then I think this settlement, or this province, has all of the stuff that it can have to make money, right? Yeah, we have income from buildings coming in from this line. This line does not produce money. We do need to build extra star chambers. And this line increases the money from post-battle loot, but not from the region itself. Still, it is money. Well, let's build another star chamber here. We have just enough money to set that off, and then... you know, we're going to start some new recruitment next turn. We don't need the star chamber right this second. Let's just hold on to the remaining money. Okay, more pirates and stuff. So I think the answer is no, we don't need to repair this. I'm just going to smash it instead. We'll replace it with something that's a little bit more relevant. Honestly, probably a garrison structure. And our public order is all the way in the toilet, but 10 points that's going to come off immediately. I'm kind of wondering if we want to, because we don't want to probably open up war with these orcs just yet, not until we have the Skaven thing under control. Wonder if we want to just pull this too, put up a public order building, and hopefully between those be able to maintain control of it without having to spend a lot of time over here. Okay, you are definitely going to be a map action kind of guy. So do we want to hire another hero is the question. We have a scout running up there. We could hire a scout, another one, to run down here and just temporarily reveal these, and then I don't know what to do with them after that. But is that a worthwhile use of money? Probably not, actually. Like, we don't know exactly what's going on with these, but we have, you know, we know there's some Skaven over here and stuff. Yeah, I'm not too worried about that. I think we can save everything else. Okay, so we have our double move right available, if I'm not mistaken, to help us respond to moves from Clan Moors. We'll have our scout run up here, and if we can't find another settlement that looks empty, then we'll know that one of the settlements over here is probably Clan Moors. Uh-oh. A plague was spread into Karagorod. That's actually pretty bad. Because that will probably spread to Tiktaq'to's army, and it will inflict damage, and I believe also lower our replenishment rate? Something like that. It will burn itself out in time, but it's bad. And if we move his army out near another settlement, we risk spreading the plague. So probably the thing to do, unfortunately, is to have them just sit in Karagorod. Okay, Death Gorge just got taken over by the dwarves. That's actually probably really good for us. The dwarf faction does not seem to like us very much, but our military actions against Clan Moors have already earned us 38 points of approval. Yeah, we're trending toward positive. Okay, here's some high elves that dislike us very much. You know what? I'm not going to call in the Court of Liberis here. I'm not going to strain our alliance. If these particular elves want to be at war with me, I guess they're allowed to do that. They're at war with a bunch of the other high elf factions, so that's probably part of it is that we have a trade agreement with someone they hate or something. Hard for me to imagine that's going to come to anything at all. Alright, so let's see exactly how bad the damage from this plague is. It's possible the Clan Moors was on the back foot, that army we saw partway through recruitment was recruiting because they had lost a big battle against the dwarves and they were trying to replace the dead stack. And if that's the case, then we probably just made it impossible for them to recover. Which would actually be pretty fantastic. We may not have to fight them much more at all. The dwarves might be able to finish the job for us. So when we go to war with Clan Arachnarok, is that what it is? Arachnok? Whatever it is. These guys. These particular orcs. We're going to have to push south pretty far. Obviously, we want to eliminate them completely. I don't want them left alive feeling resentful, because that's a problem that we will never stop having. So we'll probably be at war with the orcs for a little while. We won't be able to push east with Tiktaq'to very much. So it's probably going to be a little while before we're actually anywhere over here near the jungles that we need to get to. Alright, the raiding needs to stop. So let's grab a unit to round out our composition here. Do I want red-crested skinks? I think I'm actually going to grab one of the units of Blessed Saurus warriors for this army. We don't have any poison right now, so I guess we could grab these guys. Man, they really don't seem very good, do they? Do we have some normal skirmishers left anywhere? I'm just kind of curious if we can compare them to normal skirmishers and see what the difference is. No, I got rid of all of the skirmishers on account of them being such extremely bad units. Like, they're not even chameleon skinks, right? They're the much worse thing. And this army probably has enough beef already, though. Let's just get that slot filled in. Alright, Lord Croak is on his arcane conduit now. Gonna mean a lot more explosions. So we probably want to grab both of the units of Blessed Saurus warriors. We now have the option to pull in normal Saurus units, and I think we definitely want to get some spears at the very least. So how many more slots do we actually have here? We're not going to hire these guys until the last moment, but we'll grab these two plus this. So that leaves us with 5 slots left. I want to get some salamanders, let's say 2 salamanders, so we really only have 3 slots left in this army as it is. Probably those 3 slots are all spear guys, because we're getting some cudgel guys from the Blessed pool. Yeah, I think that puts this army in an okay place. So we still have 2 turns left on this thing. Yeah, next turn we can begin the recruitment of the salamanders, so we'll have them locked in. Yeah, next turn. Okay. We're probably going to end up just demolishing this, but for right now, I think the upgrade is sensible. We have a good immediate use for it. Yeah, one thing I'm really curious about is exactly how much territory the High Elves control over here. Alright, Yarrick is definitely going to go and get in a fight with these guys. I think we should be able to handle this. I eat your still beating heart. That's a brave battle cry. I guess if you lose, there's not going to be anybody around to embarrass you for having said such a thing. Alright, we have a little bit of proper range damage, but I believe these guys have stalk. Yes, they're not actually going to be visible until they're almost within firing range. They don't have the ability to fire while moving. So when the skinks run at them, they're going to have to plant their feet if they want to deal any damage. I'm a little worried about the minotaurs. They are big and heavy and terrifying, and we don't really have the best tools against big and heavy and terrifying in this army. But we will figure it out. The thing is, even if we were to lose this battle so badly that this entire army was destroyed, it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'd be pretty upset about losing our blessed Stegodon. Seems very unlikely to me to occur. But in terms of our position here, like this army is still not going to be a threat to any of the settlements in the area. This battle is pretty low stakes, is what I'm trying to get across. We do have the salamanders as good anti-large troops, so they can mess up the minotaurs. Let's gamble a little bit, either familiarize ourselves with our spell pool, because we've not actually used this guy at all. So Wind Blast. Faw's Protection is definitely going to be useful. Soul Quench is a powerful explosion, strong versus multiple combatants. This is probably a good anti-archer spell. And then we have Tempest, which is not going to do anything in this battle. So they're going to come at us pretty much... like we want them... we want some of them to commit early, because we're going to have to attack the Cygors with some of our flyers. And we can't do that safely while they're still surrounded by archers. So what we might want to do here is try to take advantage of the trees. Those big rocks that the Cygors throw could be intercepted by tree cover. Yeah, so let's actually... we're pretty much in the right spot then. Alright, let's plan our movement. We want the salamanders, like at the front of the trees, with the Stegodons flanking them, I think. The Stegodons should be pretty good at fighting minotaurs. And then these good Blessed Saurus warriors. The thing is, I want the Saurus warriors in front of the salamanders. I don't know, I guess they could be behind, because we could just have them run forward through the salamander formation. I want the salamanders at the edge of the forest, though, because I want them to be able to fire out easily, while firing in at them is still difficult. And then red-crested skinks, I don't know, just kind of get over here. You're going to have to move into flanking positions no matter how we set this up. Big Fat Frogman, get in there as well. And then it's just time for flyers. So we have to be smart with our flyers here. They have enough bows and arrows that we could take some pretty significant damage, even though their individual bow and arrow troops are pretty bad. I'm not too worried about the Chaos Warhounds. Like, they don't have that many units of things we actually have to worry about. It's pretty much just these guys in terms of the rest of our army. I don't even think the archers are very dangerous against the non-flying parts of our army. Let's keep everybody together, though. I'm going to run way out to the side here. My hope on this is just trying to draw their bows out away from the rest of the fight. Because if we can get their bows out to the side, we can have most of our flying units just go around them. And we're definitely going to be reliant on... ooh, you can see those big rocks. One of them actually made contact, jeez. That's a pretty impressive throw. Ah, see, you notice how they're not moving forward at all? they are going to use their artillery advantage. We haven't seen a lot of this yet, because we haven't gone up against factions that have any artillery. But they're just going to stand back here and shoot at me because they feel like they have the advantage in a stand back and shoot fight. And unfortunately, I think they're right about that. I think they have our number. So maybe what we want to do here, maybe we have to push. This is not how we have traditionally done things. All right, is your missile is anti-large specifically? No, it just does a lot of armor-piercing damage. They've taken up the forest position. They're doing the same thing I was thinking about, I was trying to do here. Okay, well, then what I think we need to do is move this guy around to a position where you can start firing on those dudes. The thundering one can get over here as well. We're going to have to do kind of a slow march because it's going to have to be led by, unfortunately, the Saurus warriors, who are slower than pretty much all of our other units. All the skinks just kind of get over there and be ready to move forward. Okay, so we're going to have to get aggressive with our flyers then. In that case, my plan is get all the way over here, and then we just sweep them from the side. We're going to take some archer damage on this, but it's not going to be too bad. And in fact, I'm going to have the units that are in front. Actually, you know what? If they're breaking formation to run from us a little bit, then what we actually want to do is something more like this. Let's just go directly at them. We'll just swarm them. They can't shoot us all, right? And because we're fighting in a friendly region that has a garrison building, we can debuff a bunch of enemies to ruin their missile damage and accuracy. We're going to do that as soon as the archers start firing in earnest. But I don't want to do it just yet. Trying to get those targeting circles over as many of the units of archers as possible. That's a good start. Who else wants to drop rocks? Let's see. You guys could drop right now. That looks okay. Can I? Yeah, okay. I can command both of the drops while paused. That's nice. Everybody else still needs to get over top of the archers real quick, though. I guess we have 3 charges of this and it has a 60-second duration. It doesn't say... Or no, it's a 60-second cooldown with a 57-second duration. I suppose we could just throw it out now, because what are the odds that they're going to get 3 minutes of good shooting off? It affects a small enough area. Let's wait until they're actually shooting, so that we know where we want to use it. Love to get in an area where I feel like none of these projectiles are going to get eaten by trees. We do outrun them a little bit. Actually, some pretty good dodging. Okay. Let's make sure that we are focusing on the correct enemies. Alright, what other units of archers need to get targeted? Somebody should finish those guys off. And then I think we have at least 1 unit of bolas attacking each archer. So we can double up a little bit. Okay, we're moving. Slowly, we're moving. When they start moving forward in earnest, we have to pay attention, because their units are faster than mine are. This archer fire coming from? Okay, they're not actually standing and fighting almost anywhere. Alright, our Sauruses have managed to overtake the rest of our units. I'm just going to go ahead and drop both of these, and then you guys can focus on him. Alright, let's blow some stuff up. Fortunately, the Ungor Spearman herd got accidentally caught in some of the damage. Let's try the moderate magical damage powerful explosion. Okay, I have to pick a single unit and fire it. Let's do it on those Warhounds, because I think we're more likely to catch some of these other dudes with it, and I'm not worried about these ones at all. They're about to get mulched. Okay, flyers. What other flyers need to do stuff? Most of the units of archers are breaking pretty quickly. Yeah, I mean, beastmen are a little bit like some of the other factions we faced in that their basic units have incredible leadership issues. This is a thing that we've been lucky to avoid. Okay, that... I sure would describe that as moderate damage. I think that is a fair description. Yeah, lizardman units are not afraid of anything, which is actually great, because we are fighting in a pretty non-standard way in terms of infantry. There we go, get that nice spread out effect. Okay, so their warhounds have broken on both flanks. They have their tiny unit of spears coming in, but I'm not afraid of that. We should probably just mess their lord up pretty badly. How's Yarkit fighting? I mean, I know he's not going to be great. 24 attack, 40 defense. Their guy is an actual melee lord, so we should not let him anywhere near my lord, and in fact, I'm going to back up a little bit. But we can definitely focus on him with the crossbow on this dude's back. Okay, they have the Minotaurs coming in. This is where it's going to get a little bit more real. I think we should probably have both of the Salamanders focus up immediately. I do not expect the Hounds to recover, but maybe we ought to set the Skirmishers on them. Like here, we'll have a unit of Skinks go that way and the unit of Skirmishers... Actually, no. The unit of Skinks go this way as well. The Skirmishers probably want to move up because I want them on those Minotaurs. We'll be much better at fighting the Minotaurs if they are poisoned the whole time we are fighting them. And then... probably we'll just want to throw up Faw's protection on our dudes when they get into melee with the Minotaurs, but I don't know what else we have to do here. For the moment, I think we are mostly good. Okay, we definitely want some of these units staying on the archers to keep them running. But like, that really only has to be one unit per unit of archers, so we'll start doing some of this. Actually, you could get over here and drop some fire on these guys. We're not going to do a ton of damage to the Minotaurs with the actual bombs, because they're big and also... well, I was going to say they're big and spread out. They're not that spread out anymore. But remember, this one causes fire vulnerability. Salamanders are awesome. I think we're probably going to have the Salamanders just march forward here. We can now collapse on their lord and hack at him from all sides. And if these guys stay broken, they keep retreating, we're actually totally in a position to just have the Salamanders come over and start in on the Cygors, which I think would probably be a really good idea. Okay, you guys are all done with what you were doing. Everybody just get back over here. Yeah, so I would love to see the rest of these units, the other two units of Minotaurs, permanently break. We're going to keep channeling fire into their backsides until that happens. Oh, their lord is afraid. That's usually a good sign. Well, they're really good at not getting murdered while running. You know what? They're far enough out to the side. We don't have to worry about this anymore. You also get in there. Where is this dude? That dude needs to be shooting at them. Yeah, we can keep poison on their lord. Keep them from feeling too tough. Alright, who's got a rock for me? Just need to throw some fire vulnerability on these guys. And we didn't end up needing Faw's protection at all, because it turns out they were not able to stay in melee with our troops long enough for it to matter. Okay, well, I feel like the lesson of today's video has been that salamanders are amazing and that I maybe have too few of them in my armies. You can see, like, our melee troops absorbed quite a lot of artillery fire. Obviously, like, if they had had a larger number of Cygors, we would have had to be a lot more afraid of that. And then, like, the Sauruses did eat a Minotaur charge, and the charge is, as you might imagine, the worst part of fighting a Minotaur. And they came out just fine. Sauruses are crazy tough. Our biggest disadvantage is in our ranged units. And the Pterodon Riders let us cheat that disadvantage a little bit. Because we can swoop around behind enemy ranged. Whereas a lot of units with bad ranged get chewed up by enemy ranged units. We have a solution for the enemy ranged units in our kind of strange form of cavalry. But hardier ranged units, like things like a Bone Giants and Shabdi Great Bows, or Cygors, stuff like that, are a little bit more able to take advantage of our weaknesses, and we're just kind of lucky, I think, that we haven't run into too many difficult army compositions yet. We're definitely digging into geomantic sequence here. We do not have the movement necessary to finish these guys off. That's frustrating. Well, their army's weak enough that it's not a threat to anybody anymore. Let's go ahead and upgrade that gold mine a little bit. We're making pretty good money off of these battles. I feel like a lot of our overall income has been the remains of battles. Alright, we definitely don't need 13,000 gold for the recruitments we're going to do next turn. So we should probably get another building started here. What do we want most? Well, we need to get some temples, the old ones. And also we have to have a beast lair, which is just that. Okay, so let's build the Shrine of the Old Ones first, because that has to be further upgraded before it's useful. Although I guess the settlement's only level 3 right now. This building at least does something at level 3. Okay, yeah, that'll be the next one. And then we'll save money from here. Okay, this hero can go north and try to get us a better idea of exactly what's happening up there. And now let's assess the damage. Are you plagued yet? Actually, they're not. They don't have the plague indicator. If we move them out... Yeah, okay. We managed to not get the plague. Every turn we sat in Karagorod, there would have been more and more chance that we would get it. So that's good. That's good to have done. Let's get one of these up, and this is important enough that maybe we should undo... Like, let's cancel this. I think it's important enough to get walls around here because this place is going to be on the exposed end of our empire for a minute. So we should prioritize that over the Beast Lair. We're probably not even going to summon anything from the Khemri Beast Lair anytime soon. Alright, let's run one more sequence of enemy turns. We don't... Oh, you know what? I was going to say we don't have a reason to use the double move right. Oh, we can't. We used another right too recently anyway. But actually, the double move right would not have been terrible right here. Let us pressure those guys out, but yeah, we have to wait 3 turns anyway. So if we continue to fight Skaven, while the dwarves can see us doing it, we're going to end up in pretty good shape with them. Clan Moors should be down to 2 settlements now.
What?
Yep, and we don't know exactly where they are, but like this has got to be one of them, right? And then maybe that, and the rest of these are the other Skaven. That's my guess. We're probably going to want to wait for the plague in Karagorod to run its course before we move to the east. I guess I could have just moved the army out to the east immediately. We could have just run across Granite Massif without declaring war on them, and if they don't like it, oh well. Maybe that would have been the smart thing to do. Clan Morse is not completely out of military yet, though. With the amount of red that was left in the balance of power bar with them, I'm expecting that they have a full-size army somewhere. Right, because we have three fairly powerful stacks. The bar was showing like somewhere between a quarter and a third full. Yeah, they could totally have a full stack somewhere. And who knows, maybe it's over there. Maybe going over there with just Tiktaq'to's stack would have proven to be unwise. And we don't have an easy time retreating back across, because I don't know how close you have to be to a settlement to get the plague from it, but This is probably within plague range. Yeah, it's very inconvenient. It's not a thing that the Skaven can do very often. That guy who creates the plague, I believe, is the result of a rite. And he's single use. He died creating that plague. So we won't have to worry about that from them for probably another 20 turns, but it's still annoying. That's interesting behavior. Oh, what? Who are you? Okay. I don't think the Court of Liberius has to get involved in this. I don't know what their deal is. They broke a non-aggression pact to do that to us, too. So they've lowered their diplomatic reliability rating. What a strange decision. Do they maybe have guys closer than we are aware of to our North Shore territories or something? Probably not, right? Why would they? I'm sure they're having enough trouble surviving up there on their own with all the Norskins around. Also, our strength rank is pretty high. I think we are rated as one of the most powerful factions in the world right now. So why would you, as an Empire faction who's super far away from me, who is at war with other people around you so you know you're in danger, and who isn't... I mean, they can't even be trying to ally with somebody else who's already at war with me, right? Because I don't think anyone in that part of the world is. Maybe they want to get in good with that faction of High Elves that declared on us last turn? Maybe that's what this diplomatic maneuvering is about? Seems kind of strange, but I can't think of any other explanation. Alright, so let's go ahead and do the thing we know we're going to do here. We may as well get this out of the way. So we are definitely recruiting salamanders. And then, here's a question. Do I want a third unit of salamanders and skip the other red-crested skinks? I think I want the source of reliable on-the-ground damage. So yeah, we'll do this, and then we don't actually have to bring in the other units until these guys are just about to leave our territory. So, we have a third army that is all set up and ready to maybe look north. I think probably Yarrick is going to just... Man, I do not want to have to chase these dudes around. 2 turns until we can double move. So you can see they're using this movement stance that lets them cheat the obstacles on the map, try to escape from us. It's going to be annoying to have to chase them, but they're so wounded that maybe we don't have to. Maybe they wouldn't be able to take out any of the settlements that we have left anyway. I don't know. We'll figure it out next time, on Monday. So that is going to be it for us for today. Thank you all so much for watching. Come back next time to see if we can finally drive out these beastmen and exactly what we're going to do about all this spiteful plague nonsense. And we'll see you then.